Good morning, everybody. It's Hank, SixFourTrading. This morning we have a lot going on. We had the rate decision yesterday. Markets ran up into the close and has gotten near the close. After hours, it just started tanking. Oracle earnings came out, and I think it might have scared the market amongst other things. I don't really think that was primarily it. But your futures are really low right now. We'll talk about that. Oracle they did disappoint on earnings, and guidance was terrible. So it caused a massive sell-off in Oracle. We'll take a look at that. So futures are lower, 1% or 1.2% lower across the board on futures. A lot of the tech sectors sold off as well. The dollars, of course, went down. When you cut rates, the dollar normally goes down. It did, sort of bouncing back a little bit. Gold ran up, silver ran up even more. So those things happen. And again, we'll talk about Oracle. Today we'll take a look at that. And then Adobe, they did have good expectations. The outlook wasn't all that great. So they sold off a little bit too. So a lot of selling going on. And then there's this whole Warner Brothers Discovery deal. Now, the latest I saw, and I need to validate this again, that, the Paramount launched this counter deal for about $100 billion. It's saying 77.9. I think it was 108. And I thought I saw something early this morning that says something about Netflix came back with an $80 billion, and they accepted an $80 billion deal. So we'll dig some more into that later on in the day. But ultimately, let's look at the economic calendar. What we have coming out today, basically initial jobless claims is the most important thing. Continues in this 8:30, these claims come out. And then we have some bill options later on into the day. So the biggest thing is if these numbers come in, they're saying it's supposed to be higher, right? 220. If they do come in higher, it will kind of throw off even more of the Fed not cutting rates, which they alluded to yesterday during the speech as a summary of interpretation of that is that they were not going to raise rates, but they're not going to really cut rates probably going forward. They're going to start buying back some treasuries. They'll try to pump liquidity into the market basically because there's liquidity in the market is pretty much dried up. People are not pumping back into the market the way that they would expect, or to the banks, to the banks really. So we'll see what these numbers look like. If they're lower, it may spark a rally because the market will read this as saying, okay, jobs have come down. We get non-farm payroll soon. I think that's coming out soon. I think next week, and we'll take a look at that. And then, that would be more, the Fed will be more inclined to have to cut more because we're losing so many jobs. So we'll watch out for that number today. Tomorrow, a lot of stuff, just Goldbees talking oil stuff, not, a lot of the oil and natural gas earnings stuff start coming out, or the weekly starts coming out. And then next week, we have the ADP unemployment, right? So we get the unemployment non-farm payroll numbers, which is very, very important. And we'll be watching that very closely to speak to the same narrative I was saying before about jobs. Very important because that's what the Fed is going to be looking at again. So next week is a big week for that. And also one other thing, it's not on here, Japan will be making their rate decision next week as well. And that a lot of analysts are looking at that saying if they may raise rates and spark another carry trade. So we'll watch out for that too. But all in all, that's what's going on in the economic calendar. And the markets are pretty much down in futures right now by 1.2%, if not higher right now. So let's go jump into the charts and take a look at this AXIL, which I saw today. They got a distribution deal with Walmart agreement. So that's big news, causes the stock to jump way up here to 15s. We pull back to 12.5s right about now. I'm looking at 10s on this for a pullback. 12s might, for a pullback here, maybe go higher. If not, this thing could just continue going. This may be a runner. Not a full-on bag holder chart, but this thing could run. I mean, we already hit 15s. We could probably go to 20s on this, if not higher, off this deal that they got with Walmart. So it's good news for this company, good catalyst for this company. The brand's being in a distribution deal with Walmart. So this will be in play today. I will be looking for a pullback, if not to go below 10s, 1037s here. If it does hold up above here, I'll be looking to push back to 15s, maybe even 20s on this run up this with this good news. Just maybe a continuation upside play on AXL. Now let's take a look at Oracle. Oracle, like I said, didn't have good earnings. So right now, pre-market we're down here. Let me drop this down to a 4-hour chart so we get a good reading on this. Right now we're down at 198. So I mean, this thing dumped from 231 spike up here down to 198, and we're right at a critical level where this thing already broke below. This could actually come down to 184s. I'm targeting down 170, 180s on Oracle. So I'm looking at 180 target downside. We have a lot of downside, so like 20, 40 points almost. That's at the downside of Oracle. They'll probably pop up a little bit at the opening, and then I will look and see if it does go to 209. That's where I'll take a short play. If it goes to 206, I can take a short play there. 203. So I'll probably scale into that up to 209. So if it breaks above that, I'm going to get out of the short trade on Oracle. So watch out for Oracle today. The outlook wasn't good. Earnings wasn't all that great. It was mixed. So it's really just taking it down. They're taking a beating right now. And they'll probably take more of a beating throughout the day. Now, don't forget, the Fed is looking to inject or buy $40 billion worth of treasuries on the 12th, which is Friday. So we're making a pump in the market on Friday. So watch out for that too. Or we might not, but I mean, it's a big deal to pump liquidity into the banks like that. So we'll see what's going on with that. So watch out for that move on Friday as well. Let's take a look at Adobe. Adobe, again, pumped up at 361 and just completely tanked down to 337. Trending down here a bit on Adobe, right? We're trending down. And this is a lot of the narrative will pull down. Just the tech sector, AI bubble, especially with Oracle, the AI narrative there is very concerning. I did see NVIDIA dump a little bit into the close after the market yesterday. Sorry, after hours. So I want to see what that looks like. But Adobe, I think I will watch this level here. I'll see if it fills all the way down back to 332. If it does break up, then we'll go test out this 350s up here on Adobe. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA, basically, it's still, what's going on in NVIDIA right now? We're down to 180s, which has been holding that from this. This is continuously rejected at 191. We're down 10 points from that level. They could fill back the zone down to 176s, but ultimately 173s. Yeah, it's really pulling back the AI trade. It looks like it's really just starting to burst here on the AI trade. So that's NVIDIA, Oracle. We could take a look at what was kind of running up yesterday, Carvana. Been trading that. This is they got added to the S&P 500. I mean, my indicators are like screaming. This is extremely overbought. This is really, really overbought. It is screaming overbought this right now. It already moved up to this level from 308 to 100 points almost, right? Move on this without being added to the S&P, but in anticipation of that. And then when they got added, it shot straight up, right? Another 40 points. We're up 60 more. I mean, this is crazy. I'm going to be honest. This is a lot of, they haven't done anything, right? They look at this. They missed earnings. So they missed earnings and it runs up. This to me is extremely overvalued. I will be watching out for a massive pullback on Carvana because the valuations aren't justified. Even though they got added, that's been priced in considering to the earnings miss that they have down here. So it's not looking good on earnings, and they're extremely overbought on RSI. Missed earnings, valuations are extremes. You have an extreme move up on top of an extreme move up with no data catalyst to do it outside of just being added to the S&P 500. So my expectation is that, as an investor, I would take a lot off of this, trim it down to some normalized or somewhat normalized valuations and move up. But right now, it's just continuing there's an uptrend here that is intact. There is an uptrend. We are making all-time highs, all-time highs, all-time highs, but it's extremely overvalued, folks, and it's running red hot. We're starting to curl down a little bit on the RSI indicator, just a little bit. The red zone is popping up because it's extremes. So I'll be watching out for a pullback on this. Indications of that. We got a little bit of downplay right now just because I think this is overall market sentiment because the market is down right now. So I think this is just pulling down a little bit, but not really much, right? It's still way up there on Carvana. Let's take a look at the NQs futures right now. Yeah, we're starting to push back up. Came down to this 25391 level, which is a key level support along the way. Support, working through that there. Came back down, retest support. This could go up higher. We're starting to push back up on the markets. This may even reclaim everything it lost yesterday. So we'll see what happens with this today on NQs. ES is probably going to be the same thing. ES is probably higher, actually. Yeah, same thing here in ES. This is a slight pull down. We're starting to push back up into that. But be careful because that is a weird pull down we had overnight. This could be a dead cat bounce up to this level 866, and then it could just sell off even more. But right now, equity is starting to push up. AMD, kind of holding that line. I wanted to show that because it did break below this trend line here on AMD, and it could very well continue this downtrend since we're rejecting this 226 level up here and sell off to come down even lower. Let's look at Tesla because Tesla's a big deal. This level's up here. It's unable to break above the 458s. Still in a nice uptrend here, and it could just be a lower low here to go higher on Tesla. So we got this nice little V here. We haven't really completed it up to this level. So we'll watch out for that 467s, or if it comes down here, we did have a pullback on yesterday's sell-off, but everything did that yesterday, and everything's starting to move back up now. Yeah, things are starting to push up. Netflix, we have to look at Netflix, right? Because they've really been taking a shellacking, and I still think they're on target for 82. I want to buy, my buy level's at the 82. I think it was overvalued still, even though it did a stock split, doesn't matter. The earnings weren't good. The earnings were terrible, right? And their forecast for it wasn't all that great. So we broke this level 114 up here, came retested it, rejected it. I think we have to finish this process, right, and come down to this 82s. And it's looked like it's on its way there now. So I've still got more downside targets on there, even though we're a little bit oversold. We may consolidate, push up, and then continue that sell-off back down here. We could turn back around and go higher, hit this level, reject, and come down, which will cool off some of the RSI. Some of the extreme selling here on Netflix. Meta still in a doghouse. It's trying to curl back up. We got a nice little V here, break up, pull back down into this level. Needs to hold that level. Critical to hold the 642s. If it breaks below 642s, which is kind of trying to save it, it did. You're looking at a target down here, 603s, if not five spot 80s on Meta. That is it for today. Again, watching 𝐬𝐲 so far, popping up on scanners today. Really good catalyst for this thing. 𝐬𝐲 looking really good. Yep, we broke below that 10 line there. Didn't want to do that. This thing is really getting hammered here. We have to watch out if it can reclaim that, get back above, but not a buyer here on 𝐬𝐲. Looks like the bags in here are starting to take profit early. Right, 5 points down. We're pushing back up in the 10s right now. So it may get a little volatile on this. We push back above here and we can hold, you're talking more upside on this. So no long position yet. I need a confirmation of this thing being up. That's a 15-minute chart. Yeah, we really dumped on this. Really tested this level out here. It's a lot of selling. All right, folks. Hey, we'll talk to you guys later. See you guys in the Discord. Talk to you later. Bye.